I'm joined now by two leading experts on the growing alliance between Iran and Venezuela. Roger Noriega is a former high-ranking State Department official and a former U.S. ambassador to the Organization of American States. And Ilan Berman is vice president of the American Foreign Policy Council here in Washington. He's written books on the Iran threat and the long war against Islamic jihadists. Gentlemen, welcome. It's great to have you. Roger, I want to start with you. Your group, Vision Americas, has revealed that in the past 5 years, that's since 2005 alone, Iran has created a large network of entities and businesses in Venezuela and in the surrounding region, allowing the Islamic Republic to establish and develop a strong presence in this area of Latin America, in our hemisphere, I might add. The broad range of activities includes diplomatic, military, commercial, financial, industrial, energy, petrochemical, and many others. And you guys say the estimated amount of these announced investments, according to Venezuelan documents, is 40 billion U.S. dollars. Now, that's since 2005 alone, $40 billion in trade between Iran and Venezuela. Now, prior to 2005, the amount of trade between those two countries was zero. Roger, what is Hugo Chavez's game here with the Iranians?
Well, Hugo Chavez is an enemy of the United States, a self-declared enemy of the United States. And therefore, as part of a strategy of defending himself and attacking our basic security, he's made common cause with the rogue nations of the world, whether it's communist China or Russia, Cuba, and Iran. He does this in a systematic way. In the case of Iran, offering them the platform of the Venezuelan financial sector to evade UN sanctions. And by the way, that 40 billion is Iran to Venezuela, not the other way around.
Right.
By using these commercial activities as cover, they're able to get around these sanctions, launder their money through the Venezuelan economy, and do their business.
How does Venezuela benefit from this?
Well, we believe that Venezuela, Chavez is intent on having a nuclear program, and yes, we believe it has a military component.
Ilan, when it comes to Iran, this is obviously a militant, jihadist, Shiite theocracy. Venezuela is socialist, atheistic, ultra-secular, the regime in Venezuela. Does Iran kind of has to put aside, I guess, its core ideology in some ways to deal with Hugo Chavez? Is it the enemy of my enemy is my friend at the end of the day?
It's not for nothing that we talk about this Islamist communist alliance.
Unholy alliance.
Unholy alliance of sorts. There's really a lot of common ground that the Iranian regime sees with Venezuela, not so much in terms of religious ideology, obviously, but in terms of common opposition to the United States, an anti-American vision, a vision for a world where America is not the top dog, where anti-Westernism rules.
One of the problems in Iran is they can't refine their own gasoline, their own petroleum, even though they have huge amounts, obviously, of oil. Now, Chavez has promised to provide them with some of that refined petroleum so they can further get around sanctions. Talk about that a bit.
Iran, as you said, is very dependent on foreign supplies of gasoline. Iran's an energy superpower, but it doesn't refine enough gasoline at home. It has to import it from abroad, about 40%. Every year. Over time, the U.S. Treasury Department, U.S. Department of Commerce, State Department have focused on that and sort of zeroed in on that as really the Achilles heel to Iran's economy. The idea is if you squeeze Iran's energy sector, if you make it harder for them to get gasoline, they'll ratchet up the cost for their nuclear program. Hugo Chavez has really staked a claim to undermining that effort as well. He's said, since November of last year, he said that when sanctions really begin to bite in Iran, he's going to supply Iran with 20,000 barrels or more of refined petroleum, of gasoline, that Iran can't get elsewhere. And by doing so, he's going to soften the blow of U.S. energy sanctions. And by the way, not just U.S. energy sanctions, multilateral energy sanctions, which the Europeans are applying, the Asians are applying, everybody's applying. So Hugo Chavez is sending a message very clearly. He's standing with the Iranians against the international community in pressuring Iran over its nuclear program.